Welcome back to the third race of the Nitroglycerin Sunday Cup. Today we visit the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Let's start with an onboard lap. We begin of course on the start-finish straight, staying near the left-hand side on approach to the notoriously treacherous first hairpin. It's a slight kink to the right and downhill. Brake ahead of the 100-metre board and turn in at first gear, careful not to let the back slide out on the exit. Then it's the slow-paced Mercedes Arena section. Without clear reference points visible, finding the right turn-in point for each of these turns is key. There are several possible racing lines for attack or defence throughout this part of the circuit. Then, out of the arena section, drivers will be running wide, here on the sprint to the following S-curve. Ease over to the right-hand side of the circuit, brake as soon as the track dips, touch the curb to the inside, ease the car as far left as possible on the run-in to Ford curve. Then, turning through Ford curve and using as much exit curb as possible out of it, another sprint down to the hairpin on the most southwesterly point of the Nürburgring. It's crucial not to be too early on the throttle on the way out of the hairpin, as this will certainly put you off into the gravel to the left here. Out of the hairpin, we begin to head back up the hill and into the Michael Schumacher S. It's absolutely flat out, taking as smooth a line as possible to keep the car from sliding uncontrollably off the circuit. Out of the Schumacher S, there's plenty of time to line up for the following Como curve. Finding a good line through the following bit curve is absolutely essential, as what follows is the long back straight. It's all about speed, and speed alone here, with a kink halfway through. Touching the curb at this kink may be more trouble than it's worth though. Push uphill ends here with the N-gear car chicane taken at first or second gear. Difficult not to bounce off the steep curves. And finally, after the chicane is a long, slow, patient line through the Coca-Cola curve. And using all the curb on the exit, it's the end of a lap of the Nürburgring GP circuit. We begin the qualifying session at the Nürburgring race with Wyatt out of the pits first, and this is during his first flying lap. He set pole position for both the previous races in the series, and we'll have to see what kind of performance he puts in today. So, his first flying lap, a 2:05.382, following closely behind. I believe that's Fives in the Dodge. Doesn't manage to set a faster time. He's 0.944 seconds behind. This is Blue Ghost with the Mazda team. This is actually, I believe, his first race in the series, having been covered by reserve drivers. Now, he manages to actually set a faster time than... no, I think it's slower than Five's time. It's just that he isn't out on the track at the moment. Now there is IRS Powell, another reserve driver covering for Chugi, and this is KRD at the end of his first flying lap. Now we'll have to see what kind of time he can set. It looks like a good one. And yes, he's about 2 seconds off the pace of Wyatt, but it's still quite a respectable lap time from him. Now, this is Tokyo in the NSX, and again, quite some way off the pace of the Vipers, but certainly well ahead of some of these midfield cars. Now, this is Olaf coming in for... he's just set a lap time. Now, has he beaten... I believe he has beaten his teammate. Here's Kaladin at the... bringing up the rear with a lap time that's 2:13. That is quite some way from the pace of the front runners in this qualifying session. Here's Wyatt, and it looks like he's actually going into the pits. So he'll be probably trying for one more stint after this. There's Five being closely pursued by Delinquent. Very close indeed there. I think Delinquent's trying to get some tow from the dirty air from Five's car to get a faster lap time. Now, no, this is Five's outlap at the moment. so he's just starting his flying lap now with Delinquent closely following behind him. Now we'll have to see what kind of, whether this first corner has any indication. Yes, he takes the first corner very cleanly indeed. The very difficult arena section here can certainly make or break a lap, and he's gone off wide. He's gone off very wide there, and that may well have ruined his chances of snatching pole position. Here's KRD, his teammate, following on another flying lap. Goes around the first turn fairly well, a little bit of a bump. I don't think that'll have slowed him down though. Into the arena section, and again wide, slides about a bit. It seems the dodge is a little bit unpredictable around that part of the circuit. Oh, a very, very risky recovery move from Olaf there. And again, wide on that part. It seems that he was holding up KRD, and KRD decided to switch out and have another go later. Here's Tokyo, sliding around quite a bit. It seems to be oversteer sliding around the hairpin there. Now I wonder if that will give him faster lap times, but if it might cause him certain issues during the race. Increased tyre. Whoa! Right off into the gravel. Now that's something he certainly won't be very pleased about. Now here is Riots. We're on board with Riots at the moment, and he's set an even faster sector time than previously, 0.757 ahead of his previous best, and already running at pole, already 0.944 seconds ahead of Fives. Now he's running very close behind one of the dodges, behind I think Fives there, and he's going off. He had two wheels on the grass, he didn't make it, and he's completely botched his lap time there, so I don't think he'll have another opportunity. And there's Fives. Is he going to put in a better time? And the answer to that is no, he doesn't. It's much slower than his previous time. That's Dunker there, just slamming into the barrier, apparently for no reason. That's all for qualifying. Let's look at the grid. So, for the Nürburgring race. First off, on pole position, Riot, and alongside him in second place, Five Signs. Then it's Five's teammate KRD in third, and Mazda driver Blue Ghost in fourth position. Then it's his teammate Olaf in fifth, joined by Tokyo alongside him in sixth. Then it's Dunker in seventh and Delinquent in eighth. And finally, at the back of the grid, IRS Pal in ninth position and Kaladin in 10th. Here are the drivers that didn't qualify for the race. Now, it'll be interesting to see how the Mazdas get along. Having started up so high on the grid, will they be able to maintain that position? And will Riot turn his pole into a win? It's time for the race. We get off to a start on the formation lap. We're about halfway through the formation lap, and there are the cars all weaving around, getting some heat into those tyres. Here's Riot leading the pack, best in qualifying, followed closely by Fives. Both of them favourites for the title by quite some margin. Both of them on equal points. So this race, it will be really interesting to see which of these two would get the upper hand. Now, here they come through the final chicane, and the safety car, the pace car, is just heading into the pit lane now. Now, the other cars will pass through, but they will not be allowed to overtake until the signal for race start begins. Now, they will manage to sort themselves out. And now, when is the signal for start? And there it is, off they go. Immediately picking up the pace and jostling for position. They start barreling down the main straight, and it looks like it's Fives. It seems to be he's got the upper hand and managed to overtake. Excellent, and KRD gets into a bit of a scuffle with Wyatt. Nothing bad happens there, fortunately, but it seems that KRD has lost a little bit of position there. He's lost some time. Tokyo slips past him. Now, Wyatt gets off to a bad start and doesn't come out of that arena complex very well at all, but Tokyo does, and indeed so does the Blue Ghost. Blue Ghost manages to overtake KRD, and KRD is stuck back at 5th position. Now, here they are at the front. Fives and Wyatt very, very close together. It seems that Wyatt lost a little bit of time, but managed to catch back up very quickly indeed again. I wonder if that has any indication of how this race will go. They start barreling down towards the hairpin here at the end, and that could have been a bit nasty. It looked like there was almost some contact there from a slightly botched overtake attempt. Now here they come up through the Michael Schumacher S, racing very closely indeed, very fast. It's a flat-out chicane, and it's a place where usually there's not too much incident, but this complex here, this chicane that follows afterwards, has been quite a cause of accidents in the past. Now then, it's a fantastic start for 5, but further back in the midfield it's very close as well, lots of jostling for position, and KRD, who started well up near the front of the grid, is still stuck in 5th position. Now here they go round the Coca-Cola curve, and it's a little bit of a skid there, a skid from Tokyo. Doesn't look like anything serious. Now the first lap time has been set at about 2:10. Very, very good first lap. There go all the cars rushing past. We're following around the back now. It looks like Wyatt nearly tried to, he nearly overtook there, but got closed off. Very, very close racing there. And they head round the arena complex, and Wyatt manages to get he manages to dive down the inside. Now, he may not have quite got the advantage there, a bit of a wobble there from 5, and he skids, and he's gone slightly off the track there, enabling Wyatt to take the lead. That's going to be very significant indeed, and there's Tokyo very close behind as well. Now, these, you can see the scuff marks on the side of, on the right-hand side of Wyatt's car there. It's very badly scratched up indeed from this first couple of laps. Now then, there are the 3 cars at the front. It seems that they're pulling away quite handily from Blue Ghost and KRD, who are behind here. They will be very hard pressed indeed. I think that it's possible KRD has the pace advantage on Blue Ghost, but is he going to be able to get past? It's quite a big car, as you can see. Riding on board with KRD now. Is he going for an overtake? I don't think he's quite got the speed for that. No, he tries, and it looks like it's almost a successful attempt, but it's going to take a lot more than that. Now here at the front again with Wyatt, 5, Tokyo, Blue Ghost, and Olaf was in the other yellow Mazda, the teammate of Blue Ghost, whom we've seen before, of course. Now, front again. Last corner, Coca-Cola, and it seems that quite a gap has opened up. He's opened up quite a lead on the cars behind. Now let's see what this lap time will be. The first lap where they were all the way. 2:09.368 for No One Sleeps in Tokyo. Tokyo's put in a pretty good lap time, but it's not the fastest. I suspect that was Wyatt's. Into the first little complex here, a relatively recent addition to the Nürburgring circuit, of course. Has its fans, has its detractors, I suppose. It's a very slow, winding section here that will take us into the sprint down the hill. Now, it seems that 5's has gone wide again, picked up a little bit of dirt on his tyres. Is it going to be enough? Tokyo gets very, very close indeed. There's hardly any room between them at all. In fact, you could almost say that there's not enough room even for a cigarette paper between them. A little bit of a wobble there from Tokyo, but he seems to be sticking right at the back of Fives, thanks to that slipstream effect. Now then, here's Olaf at the back there, Delinquent following quite closely, and a little bit. It seems that Dunker is having a go at Olaf. Is he going to be able to get past? No, it seems he's lost a bit of time there. The curb, he shouldn't have hit it quite so hard, perhaps. Now here's Riot again. He's set a 2:07.9 lap time, which is very good indeed for race pace with a full fuel tank. And Tokyo is still clinging on very firmly. Now now KRD has managed now to overtake the Mazda of Olaf. Sorry, I mean the Blue Ghost. We're following here. It's very, very close. Maybe a little bit of a tap, but Blue Ghost brakes, holds off a little bit. You can see the Mazdas very close together now, and KRD managing to start to pull away. Now 2:07.096 is the new fastest lap set by Riot. He's really making a very, very, very solid gain. I believe he has medium tyres on the car, and I think that Five has elected for hard tyres. Now then, here we are, back of the pack. No, not the back, sorry, the midfielders, I should say. Dunker has a go. He has a go at overtaking, goes down the inside, and it doesn't look like it's paid off for him very well at all. In fact, he's lost position. He's lost to Delinquent, who manages to take a very daring line onto the inside of the following turn. They go sweeping through the Mercedes arena complex, and then out to the downhill stretch, and Dunker's trying again, but I'm not sure how he'll be successful. It's not a very good place for overtakes round this few corners here. Now you can see them in the background, but here we're focusing on KRD, who's trying to make up the distance to the front runners. You can see all these cars in the midfield are quite closely packed together. There's Blue Ghost at the front of this little pack here. Oh, it looks like hard braking from Delinquent, so you could see some smoke going up there. Locked wheel perhaps, I'm not quite so sure. Oh, it's a contact between Dunker and Olaf, I believe, and it doesn't look like it's gone very well for Olaf at all. There's Riot, and there are Fives and Tokyo. It's incredible how close Tokyo has managed to stick to Fives all this time. Now the Honda NSX that he's driving is not as strong in the straights as the Dodge Viper, so it makes perfect sense for him to be clinging onto the slipstream of Five's dirty air for as long as possible, perhaps even to save some fuel. Now, here they are, the midfielders, a little bit of a touch there, nothing serious. The Delinquent moves his way up, and it looks like there's a pit stop. It seems that Blue Ghost, is heading into the pits for the first pit stop of the race. He's been running on softs for this early part of the race. Interesting choice. We'll see how his strategy pans out in relation to the others. Here he comes now. It should be quite a short pit stop, but he is down to only 28% fuel. So here they are, Dunker diving down the inside of that first corner again. It seems that hasn't gone too badly for him that time. The front runners again, Fives has managed to gain a little bit of distance on Tokyo, but going wide again seems to be his weakness coming out of the arena complex, going a little bit too wide, picking up a bit of dirt, and then not quite doing so well immediately after that in these corners here. Now Tokyo is surely going to try to overtake at some point. For the time being, he's just tucked very neatly in the back there. Now, speaking of the back, there are the two cars at the back, Kaladin in the Mercedes and IRS Powell in the other Toyota. This is the Toyota in the lead, and there's Tokyo again. It looks like he's pushing very, very hard, and I wouldn't be surprised that if under this much pressure that Five might make some kind of slip up, and then Tokyo would be able to go through. But from what I know of Fives, he's a very, very capable driver, tends not to crack under that kind of pressure, at least not very easily. Now you can see them sweeping past. Here are the midfielders. Delinquents managed to get past the rest, but of course, as Blue Ghost has gone into the pits, it's a clear field ahead for Delinquent. Will he be able to gain some distance on them? It looks like he is gaining at least some. Now, Riots is coming into the pits at the moment. He is indeed on medium tyres. Now, is it going to be a one-stopper where he changes to hard tyres and goes the rest of the distance? Now, here's a couple more cars going into the pits. Delinquent rather cheekily crossing over the curbs in order to get in once he saw that Dunker was going in for a stop. Not illegal, of course, but certainly irregular. Now, here he is coming out of the pits. Riots, he's had a change of tyres, and there's Dunker going in for his tyres as well. Now, there's Riots. He comes out 5th onto the track, behind Olaf. Now, catching up with the rest shouldn't be too much of a difficulty, as other cars start to come into the pits particularly. You just saw Kaladin there coming into the pits as well. Now, at the moment, Fives is in the lead, followed by Tokyo, followed by KRD. Now, I suppose that it may be possible for Fives to slow down a little bit to let his teammate catch up, but that will increase the risk that Tokyo will manage to gain the positions, probably something he's not willing to do, considering his championship position. A little bit of a slide there from Tokyo through that hairpin. It seems like it's quite difficult to get right, that hairpin, as if you accelerate too early, then it's not going to go well for you. They climb up the hill and take the chicane here, which is quite difficult to get right this turn here, as finding the right moment to get back onto the speed, and two cars have gone onto the gravel. Tokyo quickly followed by KRD, went too far, they accelerated too early. I was just saying only just now that it's a very challenging corner to pick their moment to get back onto the throttle, and they've both fluffed it a little bit. Not so bad for Tokyo, he's already picked up right back on the back of Fives. Now, I honestly suspect that Tokyo, either by strategy or by sheer pace, is actually faster than Fives at the moment, but just can't get past him. Now, if he could get past him, would he be able to gain some distance? It's not certain at all, because he is benefiting from the slipstream advantage. Now, here's Dunker. He's running in 9th position at the moment, closely following Delinquent. And Delinquent hasn't really been able to get that much of a pace advantage. KRD is also struggling to catch up with the front runners. Now, here's Riots. He's in 4th now, having taken Olaf. We didn't see that, but oh, there he goes again. Fives, yet again, as I say, always seems to have trouble with that corner in particular, and he keeps picking up dirt there and letting Tokyo catch up again. KRD seems to not have so many problems, perhaps not outright as fast on pace, but making fewer mistakes, it seems. Now, there they go, race leader Fives and Tokyo closely following behind KRD there, and then Riots is very quickly catching up with the front runners. You can see that it wasn't much of a difference between him and KRD. Now then, here's Delinquent. He's gone a little bit wide there. It seems that he's an invalid lap time. He must have taken a shortcut. Was it his outlap? I didn't. Oh, that's right. It's his outlap, of course, because he was in the pits previously. Now then, here he is, and he's a short distance behind the Blue Ghost. Now remember that he was behind the Blue Ghost before the cycle of pit stops, and it seems that the positions here with the midfielders have remained largely the same as they have been before. Now, into the pits comes Fives. He has been on hard tyres indeed, and his teammate KRD comes in for tyres as well. Zero fuel. Fives has really been bringing his car to the limit. KRD perhaps not quite so much. Oh, it's a big slide there for Tokyo. Manages to keep hold of the car, keep it under control, but it is going to be costing him time, precious time, which he doesn't have very much of. Now here in third now, because of all the pit stops, is reserve driver IRS Powell, who's serving as the teammate for LOEG. And we haven't seen much of him. He's been mostly hanging around near the back, and I suspect he'll be taking a pit stop quite soon. Now here are the midfielders, very closely packed together still. We're on lap 9 now out of 16, or if you prefer, lap 8 out of 15, as the formation lap took up lap 1. So we're halfway through the race now. IRS Power hasn't yet pitted, and I believe that he's one of the only, if not the only, driver not to have made a pit stop so far. There he is now, third position. Seems to be driving a little bit more slowly than the others. His lap times have been 2:11, 2:12, that kind of thing. So certainly off the pace by a few seconds per lap. Probably running on a very, very lean strategy indeed. Now here's Blue Ghost, who's leading the midfield pack at 6th position, and he'll be lucky if he can hold on to it, because the competition behind is very tough indeed. Dunker's making a move on Delinquent. It's a very, very capable looking pass. Now he just manages, yes, very, very surgical there, manages to get ahead just in time for the Schumacher chicane, the Schumacher S, and then manages to... Whoa, it's a huge push off there. Delinquent goes up the inside of Dunker and shoves him right off the course. Now he's recognised his mistake, as you can see. He's slowed down to let Dunker past. But it's going to have cost both of them a lot of time, and that's allowed Olaf to overtake. And now here is Tokyo making his pit stop. He's going to be on a one-stopper for certain, and here's IRS Power as well. The last two drivers to come into the pits. Here he is. Now then, let's see. It seems he's not taking fresh tyres on board. He's running with the same hard tyres for the entire duration of the race. Interesting. I mean, it'll only have saved him about 5 seconds in pit stop time. I suppose then he must have done a very good job of preserving those tyres. Now, rushing around the arena complex and going off the outside somewhat, it's the two Dodge Viper cars, the HYS team, running very closely together now after the pit stops, and Riot is back in the lead though, as he pitted first, and these two pitted shortly thereafter. Riot emerged back in the lead. Now, it's quite a significant lead at the moment. You could see on the map, if you look on the top right, that on the just going around up towards the top is a lone blue arrow, or a blue arrow by itself, representing Riot, and then round near the boot of the sort of sock shape, on the sort of stocking shape of the circuit, and coming up to towards the top now, the blue arrows representing the Dodge cars. Whoa, it's a slide. It's the slide from IRS Pow. He's just managed to regain control, but perhaps those tyres could have done with a change after all. Now here on board with the Dodges again. It's a very good lap time from KRD. It seems it may be one of his best, and he is in the slipstream of his teammate, so that shouldn't be surprising. Following behind them is Tokyo, and he'll be looking to join the train, get some advantage from that dirty air, and look for an opportunity to overtake, especially if Fives continues to make those little errors about, coming out of the arena section on each lap. Now there's Riot, well ahead of the rest. He's been driving very consistently, putting in lap times between 2:04 and 2:07 seconds. 2 minutes 4 seconds and 2 minutes 7 seconds, I should say. Which is astonishingly good pace, and certainly faster than the numbers I'm looking at here for 5s at fairly consistent looking 2:09. You can see them both going through the arena section, and it seems that no 5s has managed to do all well there. It's actually Tokyo who makes the mistake there. A little bit of a reversal. Here they come, sweeping through, roughly evenly spaced apart, and certainly well ahead of the midfield that's still going through the arena section, as you can see here. Delinquent has managed to overtake IRS Power, who has reverted back to his 9th position after a brief moment in the limelight in 3rd. Here are the Mazda cars, teammates Blue Ghost and Olof, both Scandinavian, of course, with the flags you can see marked there. A bit of friendly rivalry between them, it seems. Here, the Dodges, closely followed by the Honda of Tokyo, and they go sweeping round into the fast uphill section towards the start-finish straight. Now, there's another pit stop, and Riot is on a 2-stopper strategy, I think that is, with the medium tyres, which means that although he's been much further ahead, a little bit of an upset here with 5s going all to the right, although Riot's been much further ahead, the outcome of the race could well depend on who comes out ahead in this lap. Now, Riot will be at the point of refueling now, and I know he's out. He's coming out of the pit stop now, and you can see him ahead in the middle of the screen there, in the middle of the picture, and he's just managed to clinch the inside of the first corner just ahead of 5s. Now then, how will they do through the arena? It seems very close. It seems quite neck and neck. It seems that Riot has managed to snatch the advantage of the line there and come out of the arena section ahead of 5s. Now this could be crucial. Now all four of the front runners are very close indeed in a veritable train. Riot's closely followed by 5s. KRD and Tokyo sandwiched in between the two Dodges like that, and you can see him right ahead of us. We're riding on board with KRD at the moment. And you can see he's switching around, having a little bit of a look, decides not to try it after all. Perhaps next time, Tokyo. And they go all around very, very close together. Now it seems that 5s has a little bit of a pace problem. For the whole race has been struggling to keep pace, and you can see that Riot is pulling away. It must be those medium tyres. But you can see that he's struggling against the Honda NSX behind him, and it looks like a very close mirroring of what we saw in the early stage of the race. Now, is that an overtake? It looks like an overtake. It looks like Tokyo's having a go. He's been measuring up 5s for this whole race, and he finally goes for it. Now, is he going to be able to? Yes, he does. He masterfully manages to cut through to get the inside of the last chicane here. Very masterfully done. He waited for the perfect opportunity, and he took it. And he's got 2nd place now. And 5s will really be kicking himself for the few but regular mistakes he's been making. Sorry, I should say small but regular mistakes he's been making throughout. Because it's come to this, that the Dodgers are now looking at the back side of the Honda, and in 5's case, he's looking at more lost points in the championship. Now, KRD actually seems like he's got a pace advantage over 5's as well. I would say that his lap times actually look a little bit better, and 5's goes wide again just out of the arena. KRD seemed to have slowed down in order to let his teammate take back his position. So they come barreling down the hill towards the hairpin at the bottom there, and Tokyo has already gained quite some distance, as you can see. So my theory that he was making use of the slipstream of the cars that should be faster on the straights doesn't seem to hold much water, as he's pulling away all the time. Now, perhaps if KRD can get past 5s, he may have some chance of catching up. But the Drivers' Championship, KRD doesn't really stand much of a chance, but it's between 5s and Riot, so I dare say KRD will be interested in supporting his teammate in that. But the question is that a decision that conversely lets their opponents just walk away with the race as it is at the moment? They're very, very close here, and it looks like KRD is going to overtake now. They go neck and neck into the HKS chicane. Sorry, did I say HKS? I meant NGK. Now there's Riot charging up to... it's a little bit of a slower lap, this one, but it was an out lap after his pit stop, which is usually about 2 seconds faster, actually, which goes to show that he may have made a mistake there, probably as a result of defending his line through the arena section in the previous lap. Now, the Dodgers have spread out a little bit. I think I was right about 5 signs pace, because he's losing time on KRD already, and KRD is beginning to pull ahead. Now, if they had swapped positions earlier, I dare say that Tokyo wouldn't be enjoying the comfortable second place position he's in at the moment. There he is, you can see. He's got quite some time on him, but I don't think he's going to be catching up with Riot. Not in the 2.5 laps that made. So there's 5s, a little bit behind on pace. Now here's Blue Ghost in the midfield, chasing IRS Pow, who's managed to get back up to 6th position. Now he had been in 3rd before his pit stop, and then he sunk down to 9th. And now it seems that he's got the advantage on Blue Ghost, who was the first to take a pit stop. He began with soft tyres, and has I'm not sure if he's taken a pit stop since then. So he may have been going for soft and then hard for a one-stop strategy. Now there's KRD. It's the curb there. It's not usually advisable to hit that particular curb on this, what is simply a kink in halfway up a straight. But there's right, now there are only 2 laps that remain, and he's got a very strong advantage, and he's been setting laps like clockwork, 2:08 at the moment, even better than... No, wait, this is Tokyo, who's been setting 2:08 times. And 5s continues to drop behind a little bit. Now, 2:06s are the kind of times that Riot's been setting, faster by far than anyone else. So it's unless he makes some serious error and falls off the track completely, I think he's got this race pretty much in the bag. So the real race here, the race that we're interested in then, is the battle for second. Now, the battle for second between Tokyo and KRD, there's certainly the honour of the race for them, but in championship terms, I believe that however this race goes, Tokyo will remain ahead of KRD in points. But if Tokyo can remain ahead, then it will mean that he has a more secure 3rd position. If KRD can get ahead, it means precious more points for the Dodge team, and they will be a bit closer to winning the team's championship, which they are already the favourites to do. So, here they come in the last few corners of the 15th lap. of this 16-lap event. What is coming up to the last chicane, and we'll begin the final lap clearly ahead of all the rest here. And here at the back now, let's see, here's another interesting race developing. Battle for 7th place between Blue Ghost and Dunker. Now then, you'll recall that those midfielders have had a few thrills and spills before, so it'll be interesting to see whether Dunker can get past Blue Ghost without too much incident. Now, beginning the final lap, we have Tokyo in 2nd place, followed very, very closely by KRV. Here's Dunker, he's going for the overtake, is he? He's certainly very close. Is he going to be able to outbrake? He's going for it. No, he's decided to bottle. He was having a look, but it was quite clear that there wasn't enough of an advantage. But he does go down the inside of Coca-Cola curve. On the inside here, managing very, very deftly to mount a pass, but it seems that Blue Ghost Blue Ghost did not manage to hold on to a faster line round the outside. As a result, Dunker has overtaken and taken 7th position. Now he'll be very pleased with that. A very, very good, strong, clean overtaking move there. Now here in 4th and 5 signs, certainly got that position in the bag, but I don't think he'll get anything better. Byatt's in the lead and into the second half of the final lap. KRD here is closely chasing Tokyo, and the pressure really is on. They go skipping over the curbs on the Schumacher S and come up now to it. Whoa, that's very close. That may be the closest that KRD has got to the back of Tokyo's Honda in this race so far. A little bit of the hazard light warning, I think that was, from Tokyo. Not quite sure, could have just been the brake lights looking a bit orangier than usual. Now there's Riot's well-deserved victory for him as he goes around the final turn to claim the checkered flag. Now here, Tokyo's gone off on a slide. It was nearly contact there as he tries to get his position back, and they go very closely round. Now KRD also goes a bit too wide on the curb there, and it's very, very close. It's neck and neck in fact as they cross the line. And it's KRD who takes 2nd position, and Tokyo who comes 3rd. What an excellent race. How fantastic it's been to see them so closely together, or practically for the full race distance. Now, it's Fives who takes 4th position, of course, and we're here with Dunker, closely following IRS Pow. Now, is he going to manage to overtake? I don't think so. But we'll have a look, as IRS Pow seems to be driving very slowly indeed. I don't really know what's gone wrong with him. Maybe he's just running out of maybe his tyres are just completely worn through. I don't know. But Dunker seems also to be slowing down. He's paying off some penalties at the end there. So IRS Pow manages to keep that position, 6th position. Now here's Blue Ghost. Not such a good race for him. He qualified very well, but perhaps his strategy wasn't the best. And then right at the back here we have Delinquent finishing 9th, and then Kaladin, who's got a little way to catch up with the best, just taken the final chicane now and is about to go through Coca-Cola hairpin. Here he is there, about to finish the race. It's certainly been some stunning driving, and big congratulations to KRD for managing to top that duel and to Riotsaw for the win. So, here are the race results. The winner by quite a margin this time, Riots, with 20 points for Team LOEG Toyota. And this is his 2nd win in 3 races so far. Then in 2nd and 3rd, with barely any time between them at all, KRD and Tokyo. Then it's Fives, Olaf, IRS Pow, Dunker, Blue Ghost, Delinquent and Kaladin. For the Drivers' Championship standings now, with a clear lead of 8 points, It's Riots of Team LOEG, and then Fives with 48 points, Tokyo with 37 points, and then Olaf, KRD, Delinquent, Kaladin, Dunker, Lamborghini, and Ladinator, Double Apex, Shugi, IRS Pow, Jers, Blue Ghost, Valuted, Richard, and Venom, with no points for the last 3 contenders there. For the Teams Championship, leading by 10 points exactly is the Dodge Viper HYS team, then it's the Toyota LOEG team, RKR Honda with 44 points, Apex Seals Out Mazda 37 points, and the Jaguar 7 Minute Men team 31 points, Fierce Motion 27, Them Benz Boys 17 points. That's all for now, folks. Goodbye.
I don't want to be rude, Charles, but times have changed.
I'll tell you something, Adrian. When I went in, that was all the go.
What did you do? Life? You know, Charles, you could put all these in a museum.
I'll tell you what I'll do with you, Adrian. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take this lot
Quite
now.
revolting.
Eh?